Hello students, myself Maitri Dave and today we are going to discuss about technical terms regarding the stone masonry. So let us begin our today's lecture first. So basically, what is masonry? So let me give you the introduction of it first. So masonry may be defined as the construction of building units bonded together with a mortar, right? Now, building units may be can of stones, bricks or precast blocks of the concrete. Depending upon the type of building unit used, masonry may be of the following type. It can be of stone, it can be of brick, it can be of hollow concrete block masonry or reinforced brick masonry, or lastly we can say a composite masonry, right? So let us begin to understand these terms first. So the first technical term for stone masonry is the natural bed. Now the building stones are obtained from the rocks, and these rocks have a distinct plane of division along with the stones can easily be split. This plane represents the natural bed. In stone masonry, the direction of the natural bed should be perpendicular or nearly so to the direction of the pressure as shown in this figure. From this figure, you can understand how the natural bed concept works. Now the second term is the most important, the sill. So the bottom surface of a door or a window opening is also known as the sill. So sill stone are so dressed that they prevent the entry of water to the interior of the building as shown in this figure, right? So the lower portion is known as the sill. Next is the corbel. So a corbel is a projecting stone which is usually provided to serve as support for roof truss, beam, weather shades and etc. The corbels are generally molded and given ornamental treatments. So the corbel should extend at least two-thirds of their length into the wall as shown in this figure. Right? You can see the extended portion, that is the corbel. Next is the coarse. A layer of stones or bricks is known as a coarse. Its thickness is generally equal to the thickness of a stone or a brick plus the thickness of one mortar joint. As shown in this figure, one layer of brick or any material like stone is known as the coarse. Next is the cornice. So a cornice is a course of stone provided at the top of wall. It is generally molded and given ornamental treatment. It is weathered and throated to dispose of rainwater. In order to prevent the overturning of the cornice, sufficient bearing and extra weight at the top in the form of a parapet wall should be provided as shown in this figure. Here you can clearly see the curved portion is the cornice, which is extended one, right? Now the sixth one is the coping. So a coping is a course of stone which is laid at the top wall so as to protect the wall from the rainwater. So this course is generally provided at the top of a compound wall or a parapet wall, and it is suitably weathered and throated. So sometimes the term coping is used to refer the cutting of the stones by means of feathers, plugs and the wedges. Here you can see a clear image of the coping where it is the topmost layer at the wall for the rainwater protection. Seventh one is the weathering. So the upper surface of stones used for sill, cornice and coping is dressed in a sloping way so that the water may flow off easily. This is termed as the weathering. The term weathering is sometimes used to denote the wearing of stone surface by the action of weather. Here you can see how this inclined portion is termed as a weathering. Next is a throating. So a groove is provided on the underside of the sill, cornice and coping so that the rainwater can be discharged cleared off the wall surface. That is known as the throating. Here in this image you can see at the bottom this curved portion is known as the throating. Now the most important one, ninth one is the plate. So the projecting course at ground floor level is known as the plinth. It is also used to indicate the height of ground floor level from the ground level. So the course protects the interior of a building from the rain, water and the frost. It is sometimes molded and given ornamental treatment. The offset at plinth level is sometimes omitted for the architectural purpose. Here you can see a clear concept of plinth level where below ground whatever you construct is the foundation, and above ground whatever the first level is your plinth level, and if you are putting some height to it, that will be known as the plinth height. Next is the string course. So the horizontal course provided at a suitable level between the plinth and the cornice is termed as a string course. It breaks the monotony of a plane surface and it is sometimes molded and given architectural treatment. The string course is suitably weathered and throated so as to throw off the rainwater clear of the wall surface as shown in this figure. Next is the lacing course. So the horizontal course provided to strengthen a wall of irregular small stones is known as the lacing course. It may be in a form of either ashlar masonry or coarse rubble masonry or the brick masonry as shown in this figure. Next is the spalls. So the chips of stone used to fill up the empty spaces in the stone masonry are known as the spalls or the snicks. They are obtained as a result of reducing big blocks of stone into a regular stone blocks. Next is the queens. So the external corners or the angles of a wall surface are called the queens as shown in this figure, and the stones or the bricks forming the queens are known as the queen stones or the queen bricks. Next is the bond. So a bond is an arrangement of layers of stones or the bricks by which no continuous vertical joints are formed. Next is the through stone. It means in stonework, some stones at regular intervals are placed right across the wall. Stones are known as the through stones or the throughs or the bond stones. Here you can see this from a clear image. Next is the gems. So the sides of openings such as doors and windows are known as the gems, and they are constructed similar to the queens as shown in this figure, where a door frame is there and that is known as the gem. 17th is the revels. So the exposed vertical surface at right angles to the door or window frames are known as the revels. Here in this image you can see the exposed surface which is known as the revel. Now 18th one is the heads. So the horizontal stones provided at the top of the opening of the door or window are known as the head or the lintels as shown in this figure. 19th is the stoolings. So the horizontal sitting which are provided to receive jam or mullions are called the stoolings, and they are formed at the end of sills and some transoms and the heads. Next is the label. So the projecting course from an arch or window head is known as the label. It is usually molded and is sometimes known as a dripstone. Next is the apex. The coping provided at the summit of a gable wall is known as an apex or the summit stone as shown in this figure. The apex is at the top. Next is the skew corbel. So the corbel provided below the gable coping is known as the skew corbel as shown in this figure. Next is the cleaner. So the coping between the apex and the skew corbel in case of gable wall are known as the kneeler as shown in this figure. The inclined portion is the cleaner between the apex and the skew corbel. Now the next term is the springer. So the coping provided at the foot of the gable wall is known as the springer as shown in this figure. Below the kneeler it is the springer. Next is the finial. It means the ornamental finish to an apex or summit stone is termed as the finial. You can see the apex is the top portion, but after that we will make some finishing work that is known as the finial. Next is the buttress. So a buttress is a sloping or a stepped pier and it is provided to work as a lateral support of the wall. Next is the pilaster. So a right angled columnar projection from a wall or a pier is known as the pilaster. Now let us move to the next one, which is face. So the surface of wall exposed to the weather is known as the face. Next is the facing. It means the material which is used in the face of wall is known as the facing. If I talk about the back, so the inner surface of the wall which is not exposed to the weather is known as the back. And similarly the backing. It means the material used in the formation of the back of the wall is known as the backing. Next is the hearting. So the portion of a wall between facing and backing is known as the hearting. So with this, we have completed all the technical terms regarding the stone masonry. I hope you understand all these terms in detail. So thank you for watching. See you soon in the next lecture.